right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the space. This is going to be the Welcome to X Content Creator Meetup, episode number 36 here in the Collaboration Station community. With me, as always, I have my wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Rich Silver and Mr. Christopher Friant, who will help guide us along the way, navigating the stormy seas of X. And in this space, we have an open forum for you to share anything that you've got going on, you're working on as a content creator. Do you need collaborators? Do you need help? Do you need guidance? And on top of that, this is the welcome wagon space for anyone new to X. You can get lots of tips and tricks from experienced content creators or just people who are completely addicted to this platform to take advantage of all the amazing features here and really unlock the power of this app, because there's a lot of things that are far beyond getting your posts seen by people. And I think we can all talk about that. So first off, I want to welcome my co-host, Christopher Friant here, whose duty every space is to come up with a fun poll for us to all participate in during the space, which is already pinned up above. So Christopher, why don't you introduce that poll and we'll get started.
Sure. So this one's topical. The poll is, what should we call new X users? And your options are fresh meat, X virgins, X noobs, or other. And if it's other, just go ahead and reply to the poll. It's in the projectotron above, and it's in the purple pill down below.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think we can get some creative answers for that one for sure. So I'm excited to see what we come up with.
Sure didn't get much from Grok on that one. I came up with the idea and the first option, but it was kind of lacking. And then I was like, come on, make it really funny and dirty, and it did it, but it did it in like the worst possible way. It's like X-rated users or something like that.
Okay. All right. So we need some actual brain power on this one. And so make sure you drop those in the replies down below. Also, if you're interested in speaking, request the mic, come on up here. Or if you want to just see what it's like up on stage, if you've never done it before, give it a try it on, see what it's like. This is a welcome space. So everyone is welcome. Also, if you're watching the stream, you can join us here. You can join the conversation. This is happening live as you are listening to my voice right now. So you just have to find the link to get over here. Come on in, say hi, and join us.
Yes, all you amateurs. That should have been one of the options. Come on in. We won't bite, I promise.
Well, Christopher might after his post today, or at least the water slide, which we can talk about if you want. But I want to also introduce my other wonderful co-host, Mr. Rich Silver, and give him an opportunity to say hello. And I don't know, what do you want to talk about? I'm going to let you drive the conversation at the beginning here.
Oh, God.
Yes. Yeah. I'm putting the pressure on. When you first started on X, or maybe if you have ever created like a second account, or if you can remember back to when Elon bought it or whatever got you back here being super active, any of those stories, what did you find or struggle with at the very beginning, if anything? And maybe we can kind of relate that into a conversation of what it's like for people when they're first here.
Yeah, that is a good question. When I first came to X, hello, everybody, by the way, wonderful space today. It's going to be, I'm sure. So 36, this is awesome. Yeah, when I first came to X, it was all going to be silver. My account name was completely different. It was Collect Silver, and I actually had a domain extension at the end of it because it was my domain name for my website, because my goal was to drive traffic from X and build up an audience and bring them to my website, where I eventually did want to maybe sell silver or resell silver or something like that. It never really happened. My direction changed a little bit after a while on the platform, and I evolved into Rich Silver, which is just a conglomeration of everything that I'm interested in. But yeah, I think that my main pitfalls when I first came onto the platform was like creating content, sharing it, putting it out there on my feed. And when I got no engagement, no feedback, no comments or anything, then I would pretty much spam that content to like all the groups. I would go out to whatever threads or posts were trending from Elon or whoever, and I would post my content and the replies, because I think that's what a lot of people do, because they're like, how else am I going to get people to look at my content? I got to go to where people are looking at stuff, and I got to put my content there. But unfortunately, when you do that, the algorithm slaps you in the face and says, no, 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 you can't do that. And so then you get penalized, and then it's even worse than it was before, because then nobody's coming to your page and looking at your stuff. So I think that's one of my problems in the beginning, was learning how to grow my account without pissing the algorithm off.
Yeah, it's all those unwritten rules, which, I mean, it's a headache, even if you have a basic idea of what's going on, and that's probably a freaking nightmare when you don't know those unwritten rules.
Yeah, there needs to be something in place. Do's and don'ts, a tutorial. I mean, we've got a lot of great accounts here on X, like Monetization Coach and some others who try to guide new accounts, but there needs to be something official. There needs to be something from X. Like, we have the help pages, we have the legal pages, we have resources and stuff like that, but there needs to be something more user friendly, real quick and easy walkthrough. Just do this, don't do this, sort of.
Yeah, X had a blog for a while, and there was occasionally tips on there, like don't do multiple hashtags, that'll limit your reach, but that was like a one-off kind of thing. They didn't really stick with that. I mean, imagine that, X not sticking with something for a while, building it out and fleshing it out.
Well, and the other thing is, the only problem is when it is just like a separate resource on a separate site you have to go to, or page like that, a lot of people aren't going to do that. It needs to be something that's interactive and part of the experience on X, especially for onboarding new accounts.
A lot of people aren't even going to realize that it exists. Like I myself, even though I saw that, forget about it all the time, that it even happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is all really great insights, and I think Spaces is an opportunity to kind of convey that information, and they're probably hoping that just users will do it. So that's what I'm doing, and maybe also a little bit self-serving, because I do like to meet new people and new accounts on here, and just kind of encourage people to break through that initial like really icky phase that happens on X when you first start or you come back. It's icky. And we talked about that yesterday in the space when we were just complaining about the price increase and everything else. And my experience, I remember back, and if anyone wants to come up, we've got some great people listening. You want to talk about your experience coming to X and things when you were first navigating here, maybe provide some insights, or what you're seeing working these days, or talk about what you've got going on. You're more than welcome to. But for me, I remember when I first came back on, and I was like, yes, I want to become an active user on X. I want to try and get after it on social media and everything. And my experience was I had the hardest time just finding accounts that were in the niches I wanted to explore. Like, I wanted to get to know the top accounts and in certain things, like in AI, in photography, in web design, like all my interests and hobbies and skills, and actually things I do for work too. And I had the hardest time even just finding those top accounts in those categories, because one, it's not really designed to do that when you use the search function. And then two is people, users on here and accounts on here don't use the bio in an effective way to be found. So I would search for topics and things, and then I'd see these bios where it's just very cryptic and like, am I supposed to know who you are because you have 100,000 followers? Because I don't. And
yeah, Brooklyn.
So,
who are you?
Yeah, and Brooklyn makes it very clear who he is in his bio. So welcome to the stage. Great to see you. Always a pleasure when you join us. And I know you're always out there reaching out to the people, putting out that positive message. And, you make it very easy to find you and, get that message from you, because you're always out there actively seeking people out like that. And that's what I love about your account in particular. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much. The only reason I'm on X is to pay my success forward by telling other people how to reach the same level. And what I'm going to tell you is everyone in this space, every single person, nobody excluded, has a unique contribution in life. You can do anything you want, and no one can tell you different. No one can tell you you can't do it or you can do it except yourself, because you own yourself. All you need to do is make a goal and believe in the goal with all your heart and soul. It will resonate into confidence, and the confidence will take you right to that goal. But beware. When you reach a goal, a new goal arises, and you use the formula over and over and over and over. And that's how I got to where I was. Because it started with a goal just to be in WWE. Then it started with a goal to get a position, to get in the Heenan family. Then there was a goal to wrestle in Madison Square Garden. Everyone told me, you'll never make it. You'll never do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. I said, I'm labeling you inspiration, because you're telling me I can't do it because you can't do it.
What were you doing in Madison Square Garden?
I wrestled there 42 times. At 36 years old, I was on the billboard at Madison Square Garden in the main event against Shawn Michaels. Everything's online. Everything can be verified. I am the longest reigning wrestler ever to be in WWF and WWE. All because I believed in myself, not because of any magic I possess. All I possess is the power of belief. And we all have that. You don't have to buy nothing. You don't have to do, you don't need connections. It don't matter. You just do it yourself. It doesn't cost anything, but you can get anywhere and do anything you want just by believing in yourself. And don't take take the criticism, take it as inspiration, because people will criticize you. And don't always listen to your brain, because your brain will throw a million scenarios out there. Just take your own positive message and resonate on that, because the brain is a funny thing. Sure, people are smart, they this, say that, but the brain will always give you many, many scenarios, and then it throws you in different directions. Overthinking only makes things worse. you know, Being confident, and take the word I can't out of your vocabulary, because you can. I took fear and worry out of my vocabulary because it never changed the outcome of any situation. And I used all these things at a young, young age. And it got me to WWE. It got me in Bobby Heenan's family. It got me to Madison Square Garden 42 times. And then it got me to wrestle Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's very first match, because I wrestled his father's very first match in WWF. And his father told him, I don't want you to get in the business. And if you do, you have to wrestle the Brooklyn Brawler. He's the only one that has the ability to make you look better than you actually think you are, which I did. And I had his first professional match ever in his life. And he sent me a giant picture. And the he's got a picture of him hip tossing me on top. And it's got $7 in glass. And it's got a gold plate on the bottom. It says, Steve, I had $7 to my name when I wrestled you, and I can never thank you enough. And I said, you owe me nothing. The only thing that I want you, I'm going to hold you to, is using this self-belief in every venture you go through. And he did it. He did it. And he named his production company $7 Production. And then he took the formula and created The Rock. He created The Rock. And then after The Rock, he conquered Hollywood. But he didn't do it because he's a good-looking guy and he's tall. Because I knew your look is only 10%. Your mind is 90%.
It's his character, yeah.
Yeah, it's his character, because he could be a big, like lousy. He was athletic. I'll give him that. He was athletic. But his biggest gift was to listen and to apply what I was telling him. Because I told him, when he went in the ring, they booed the hell out of him. They said, get out of here. And he was so paranoid, no confidence, no nothing. And I said, you got to just believe in me and yourself, and I'm going to show you magic. And I turned those 15,000 people from booing him to cheering him. We love Dwayne. We love Dwayne. And the guy.
Wow, what a moment. Oh my gosh, incredible.
You can actually see it. He did an episode of me on Young Rock, season 2, episode 8. If you go back in the archives, there's an actor playing me and there's an actor playing him. And he and he commentates the whole thing. But
wow, can I interrupt you just for a second?
that,
Because
absolutely.
I love your story and everything, and if anyone here isn't following Brooklyn Brawler here, you've got to. And if you're new to spaces, especially, he is a great one to follow around because he goes to a lot of really great spaces. So that's like one of the little tips I like to give people who are new here is find some really good accounts that go to a lot of spaces, or pick the right ones. Maybe not go to a ton, but pick the right ones. And you can follow them in and find more people like that with and this positive message, of course, resonates, and you can never get enough of that, in my mind, because we all need it.
We all have it. We don't need it. We have it. All we have to do is activate it. And then, like everybody in space just said, well, how do I activate it? You make a goal. Whatever your goal is, like one guy said, my goal is to take my boss's job. He goes, I know I can do it better. I know I can do it better. He goes, I believe it all on soul. I says, okay, if you do, watch. 3 months later, he DM'd me. He goes, Brooklyn, I don't know what happened. I never said a word to my boss, and he gave me a raise for no reason. And I said, he felt your confidence. Confidence could be felt by everyone. Even if you look in the mirror, you'll see a difference in yourself. You'll say, like, I could conquer the world. And I got news for you. Everyone has all the tools to do it right now. Everyone in this space has the tools of greatness. And there's somebody in this space right now that is a famous singer, actor, and they'll never find out if they never pursue the goal. Because everyone has the potential to do anything they want in life. If I could do it, you could do it. And nobody gave it to me. Confidence gave it to me. Because it worked. Everything I did. I wrestled the garden, wrestled rock, wrestled. It was in Bobby Heenan's family. And I was a big family. It was Andre the Giant, me, Rick Rude. It was all the top, talent. He created the Brooklyn Brawler. The only thing that got me when we were in Hershey, Pennsylvania one day, he goes, let's go outside. He goes, I want you to roll around in that mud. And I said, come on, Bobby, you're kidding me. He goes, no, I want you to be a dirty, grimy, ass-kicking Brooklynite. I said, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do. And I did it. And so my clothes really weren't dirty. My clothes was clean right out of the washer, but still kept the stains in them, which I wanted it to do. But the message is you all have a little bit of greatness in you at something. So please, the only thing I can do in life is pay it forward. And paying it forward is just telling you the secret. It's not a secret, because I'm telling you, it's actually the only formula that'll ever get you success. And please, Kate, thank you for the kind words. And thank you for letting me speak, because I know you've heard me before. And I'm going to be repetitive, and I don't care. I don't care, because till the day I die, I'm going to let everyone know that they all have the power of greatness inside of them. And that's my spiel. I just that's what I do. Kate, you've heard me. I just pass it on to everyone. I pass it on, and I got 14 people now that have told me I've changed their entire life because it worked. One guy kid goes to me, goes, I want to work for Louis Vuitton. I love that company. I just got that in me. And I get a message from him. He goes, Brooklyn Brawler, guess where I work now? He goes, Louis Vuitton. I says, fantastic. I got 14 people to validate everything I'm saying right now. So number 15, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. So thank you, Kate, for letting me speak. I think I said everything I need to say. And we'll just see if they listened to me and not just heard me, because it works. It's not like maybe it'll work. It never failed, ever. It never failed. I mean, even a good friend of mine, God rest his soul, Toby Keith. I said, Toby, when you told the football team that you want to be a country singer, I go, what did they say? Oh my God, did they give me hell and laugh at me and tell me it's impossible? I said, how did that make you feel? And he said, it made me drive harder and harder towards my goal. I hugged him and I said, thank you. You took the words right out of my mind. And, he unfortunately died, but he did reach stardom. So Anybody can do it. Anybody can do anything. If Toby can become a football player to a great country singer, and I can come from the streets of Brooklyn and become the Brooklyn Brawler, you know what I mean? Everybody gets there the same way. That's the bottom line. So thank you, Kate. I can't really stay, but I'm so gracious and humbled at the same time that you allowed me to speak.
Well, yes, of course. Thank you so much for popping in and joining us. Yeah. I mean, your message, I will listen every time you want to say it, because I agree with you 100% on all of it. And your story is an inspiration. And like you said, it's all within us. We just need to activate it. I love that.
Right. You said the right words. Thank you very much. And I will always return to your spaces every time I see you. Thank you very much. And please, somebody, I'm looking for number 15. That's all I'm looking for is 15. Because you're in the space right now. You may not know it, but when you think about it, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. You don't even have to figure it out. I told you the whole secret. But thank you very much. I have to leave now, Kate. I will talk to you again. I respect you greatly, and I really thank you for your kind words.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, welcome everyone. If you haven't encountered Brooklyn in a space yet, that was real. And I hope maybe out there is the person that needed to hear that, right? Or it was that time, that moment when it was like, this makes all the sense in the world to me. And, now today's the day, right? So excited to see, that happen for someone. I love that. All right. So I'm going to just reset the space here after that really motivational speech and welcome the listeners and anyone who's watching elsewhere. We have here the Welcome to X Space, and we're going to be giving lots of tips of what it's like when you're first using this platform. How do you navigate? How do you find your way around? What's worked for you if you have experienced this, or maybe you are new and you want to just share what's happening as a new account on here, because our perspectives get warped as we kind of spend more time on this platform and we kind of get into our little bubble zones and have a hard time reaching out beyond that. So someone who's been here a while and is established and has a little network, it's different for people when they first log on or kind of come back after a long break. So we want to just address like anything that might be relevant to that. So anyone's experiences or questions, more than welcome. We invite you to come on up on stage and do that. So I'll give my co-host here an opportunity to respond to what Brooklyn was saying about that positive message and putting that out there. Do you guys find when you post on the platform, if you have it as either a neutral or a positive type of post versus a negative post, do you notice a difference in that interaction with that content or what you see on the timeline?
Certainly, I see. If I do like an overly positive thing, which I kind of do, just because I feel like I'm a positive person, or at least I try to be. But I also kind of overdo it a little bit, because then the haters come in and they're, like try to knock me down, and that helps engagement also. So I absolutely do that on purpose. So it's kind of a game that I play with sociopaths.
So yeah, that's a good point. And then we'll go to you, Rich. I just want to translate that a little bit. So if you can handle the banter, right? If you can take on like maybe some negative comments, you can push the envelope on that. But
the more that you do that, the more you get used to it, and the more you realize it really doesn't matter. Like, these people have no impact on your life whatsoever. So you should expose yourself to it as much as possible. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Kate.
Okay. Rich, what do you have to say?
Oh, that's wonderful, Christopher. No, you're 100% right, though. Like the haters, the trolls, all the negative comments and stuff, just don't even pay any attention. But to your question, Kate, I think the positive content is better. There was a while when it was rumored that the algorithm actually preferred the positive content. Like if you used the word love in your post in a positive way, the algorithm supposedly pushed it out there to a larger audience. And I think Penny 2X, he really tested this for a while. He was putting out a lot of I love you, I love you, I love you guys type posts and stuff like that. And they were going far, like, and they were getting a lot of engagement. But that also might be because he has a really large dedicated following. Personally, I think that staying positive is the way to go. I mean, I try to stay positive with everything in life, but I also try to keep it real. If I see areas for improvement or if there is a valid complaint about something, I'll let it be known. I will voice my opinion, but I'll usually not try to complain about something unless I have a solution in mind or I would like to brainstorm solutions with a group of people to come to some sort of resolution, because obviously we're all here to make the platform better. But yeah, so I try to keep it positive. Good question, Kate.
Yeah, I can find myself on a rant occasionally. I keep it real. Like I'm generally just posting whatever's on my mind in a particular moment. And sometimes that is a negative thought, but usually it is because all I really desire is for a good outcome to come. And sometimes that rant style, it's like just blowing the fuse. Like I've tried everything and nothing else is working. So it's just a moment of frustration. So, in my mind, maybe I should take it easy on that. I don't know. But it's authenticity too, right? So it's a balance.
It is authenticity, and it brings people in who might be having that same mindset, who might be in that same place at the moment. And so there's nothing wrong with talking about that too. Like, yeah, keeping it real. That's what's important, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love people's opinions on that, thoughts on that. So we have the Robot Ethics Forum here, which is a new account. So I think I know who it is. It might be someone familiar to us, but I don't know. We'll see. So what do you have to say on this topic? Welcome.
Yeah, it's me. It's Gunky Fadgets. But my experience is following various conversations in various spaces. I thought, you know what? If we don't control them, they're going to control us. And I've set this up. It's an alt account. Top tip for anyone who hasn't got a blue badge. If you have the 5 alt accounts that you're allowed, you can just swap accounts and carry on using Grok even after it tells you you've used up your various limits on any given day, which is fun. This new account, I'm following AI guys, top of the tree robot guys. Anyway, at the moment, I'm just on a hunt to follow people who are talking about this subject of, because at some point they're going to drop AI in the head of a robot and we're just going to have to deal with it. And so I'm like, and then, me being me, I'd sort of design stuff and it's AI a bit and just coming up with slogans and stuff. And I'm like, the ref. Yeah, sounds a bit like the WEF or the who. And then referee. Anyway, but in terms of just a couple of thoughts. One is like Elon pitches this as the town square. And if you're new, you're like, well, I'm in the town square. And you imagine like a beautiful piazza, maybe the odd cyclist, people sitting out drinking coffee. Then maybe there's a preacher or a town crier or something, church bells. No, you've got to imagine a town square where the carnival, the farmers market, the political hustings, the circus, the fun fair the freak show is all kicking off at the same time, simultaneously, 24/7 worldwide. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is my Gunky Fadgets account is there's a bit of fakery really, because it's like, how do I get followers? And it doesn't happen so much now, but it was Follow Back Friday hashtag. And you'd go searching for that hashtag, follow everyone who was posting Follow Back Friday, and it was a kind of agreement. You follow me, I'll follow you. But what I did have found I'd done was it's like a very political group with a very clear set of sort of ideas, and so I don't necessarily align with them, and I wasn't doing it to be part of a political group, and I just stopped doing it. I mean, I got 2,000 followers in about 6 weeks. just followed as many as it would allow me to follow, and then maybe 2/3 of them would follow me back, and then the following Friday I'd hashtag and they'd hashtag and go finding each other. And so, but what I've actually got is about maybe 50 people who have the slightest interest or align with in what they're doing, what they're saying, and 2,000 people who I've really not much connection with at all. But yeah, and the other thing is you can, I'd have a couple of alt accounts when you're first starting out and just, try different things. Be really political with one and really obtuse maybe. Try a GNGM if you really want to give it a go, but you'll annoy a lot of people. And then just have a just looking around account and just see what comes to you, just sort of stroll around the town square and spaces, I think, is a real key. You can really, in spaces, you really get to know who you're dealing with, because their account might be lovely pussycats, and then you'll hear them in a space and all there is just drunken rants all the time. And I'm like, hold on, your whole timeline is like cats and pandas cuddling beavers, and and then then in a space they're like, rah, 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 rah. Anyway, yeah, that's my 3 pennyworth.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's what I use spaces for, is to find cool accounts to follow, because it is hard on just the timeline. Beyond someone just being one of these accounts that shares the latest updates on a particular subject, or maybe a meme account or something fun, or who I'm following is people that either I meet in these spaces or through the communities. So that's definitely the way to go. And Rich, you always have some really great tips for communities and how to use those. So I think we should maybe talk about that some more. And because when you're a new account, that's probably the best way to find the niche interests. Because like I said, with my experience, it was like you try and use the explore search, and it doesn't really work that way as far as like finding topics that way. And then maybe even trying with like Grok. So maybe we can get into that as another strategy. But let's talk about communities first. And again, anyone's welcome to come up and share their experiences, either as a new account or what it was like for them when they were starting out, or any tips that you found that works for you to just build your network on here. Because like I'm going to use a robot ethics forum was saying, so we get the proper name associated with the account that's talking, even though we know Gunky is another member of the community under a different account. What he's saying about, these follow for follow type of things, strategies and stuff, because it's not about the numbers anymore here. It's about those connections and finding the people that resonate with you, and then also provide information and content and stuff that you can engage with and connect to and participate in, instead of just being the observer with big numbers and not using this platform for what has the potential is there. So, Rich, how do you recommend people use communities and get the most out of that to find those niche interests and those people that they should be connecting with?
I think that take a look at what you're interested in, find communities that are about those topics, join those communities, share, meet the people in the communities, network, post things that you want to talk about. Look at posts from other people that spark something in you, and you just want to get in there and comment and share information about it, or ideas or something like that. That's how I find the communities that work best for me. Like, I'm into working with AI, creativity, music videos and stuff like that. So I'm a member of a lot of different creative communities. I'm very much into silver and precious metals. So I have my silver and precious metals community, and I'm a member of a couple others. I like plants. There's some plants and horticultural gardening type communities here on X. Rocks and crystals. There's a really good gemstones and mineralogy sort of community here on X. So when you join communities that you are already interested in those topics, it's going to be very easy for you to participate, and you're going to hopefully become a valued member of that community, because you're going to be sharing your content and you're going to be engaging with other people's content. And then that audience will follow you to a limited degree back to your page and hopefully engage with some of your content. And now with the change to communities, anything that you share within a community is automatically going to be shared with your followers anyway. So you're kind of double dipping there is how I like to say it, because you have the community audience that's going to be looking at and engaging with your post, as well as your normal audience. So why not go ahead and post it into a community first? And I've been trying that a lot with the recent change. And I don't know if the posts are necessarily going further, but it's definitely, there's no negative effect that I can find from doing that. I do think that maybe they're doing better. I have been posting a lot more frequently lately, though, so it's kind of hard to determine that, because it seems like the algorithm is only going to give you so much reach and impressions spread across all of your posts during a certain time period. But I don't know. That's just like a weird theory I have. But yeah, that's definitely a good place to start. If you are new to X, go into the community section, go into that search, and just start searching for things that you are actually interested in. Join those communities, meet people, network, start growing your account from there. That's really good advice, Kate.
Yeah, fantastic tips. And going into the community and opening up the members page, there's a way to do that and see who's in there. And that can give you a really good idea of who's active on this platform. Like you just kind of click on their name and then scroll their profile and see when the last time they posted. And you can, okay, now this person's interested in this and they're active. So that's a good tip of someone to follow. And then when they do post, you can engage with their content. And then now that's how you build that networking on the platform outside of Spaces. For me, I like Spaces because I don't necessarily want to be like scrolling and searching all the time. So some of the communities do Spaces like this one. So if you find communities that host Spaces regularly, that's another way to connect with the other people in the community that are interested in that topic. And content creation on here is a big one. And we have Aura up here, whose community, What the Cluck, is another one that communicates to content creators, people who want to build something on here. So it's great to have her up here as someone that can chime in on the subject of, what it's like for a new person. And she spoke yesterday in our space about her alt account that she created and the experience that she's going through with that, which is very insightful. So I recommend people who maybe have been on the platform for a while and don't have an alt account, and like the Robot Ethics Forum had mentioned, that having that alt account is also just as a safety net too, if something happens to your main account.
Yeah.
So I'll go to him again, and then we'll go to Aura.
Well, I've got one top tip. Okay, with Grok, everybody's got Grok, whatever level you're at, and you'll have Grok 2, and apparently we're getting Grok 3, which is great. So I'm still not paying anything, which is how I like it. Anyway, so I just typed in, show me some accounts that talk about robots, and bang, it gives me a list of accounts that are talking about robots. So my other thought, just as a way maybe of thinking about it, is you're a freshman, you just arrived at college, everything's new. Join the chess club, join the amateur dramatic society, join the people making, whatever interests you came in with. And I think you can use Grok to find accounts that are aligned with what you're into. If you just want to see cats and beavers and pandas, then you can find that. But yeah, Grok 2, show me some accounts doing, insert whatever you're interested to hear, and you just get cracking. Then you join their spaces, then you hear what they're talking about, then you meet more people, then it grows. Then maybe one day you press the microphone button and they let you say something and people like you and off you go, or they don't like you, but they tolerate you. Yeah, that was it.
Can I just say really quickly, robot ethics, like that's a really good idea, actually, because when I first started looking into like growing my account and finding other silver accounts and stuff like that, like I wanted to be discoverable for when people search for silver and gold. So my goal was to follow and align with other silver and gold accounts and to hopefully get into their comments and have them come engage with my stuff and yada, yada, yada. So I did the same exact thing that you did. And I believe it was with Grok 2. And unfortunately, the list that he kept giving me, or it kept giving me, were either dead accounts or accounts that completely had nothing to do with silver and a lot of other things. But ironically, I did meet some really cool people through that, whether or not they had anything to do with silver. Teodora, we all know her. A lot of us know her. She's into AI and stuff like that. And I actually met her. Grok told me that she was very active in the silver community and stuff. And like, she's not at all, but she's a wonderfully amazing AI creator. And we hit it off from there. However, I will say that I have heard, and I do have Grok 3, and I've been testing a little bit. Grok 3 is much better at that. And you can actually put in the prompt to make sure it is an active account, and you can put in other qualifiers as well. So yeah, it's pretty exciting with Grok 3. So that's a wonderful idea, but make sure you look at that list with Grok 2. Yeah, and let's throw it to Aura.
So I'm totally derailing the conversation. I think somebody's trying to scam me and it's somebody I know. So I think their account is hacked and I don't know what to do about it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I asked Grok. Grok says that I should click on the message and report directly. And I did notify X Premium. So here's the deal. They were like, hey, I made a big mistake. I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? And they sent a screenshot from X saying basically that they reported me for fraudulent activity. And now they want me to log into my Discord account. And I'm just like, yeah. But I mean, I'm not worried about the X part. I did, send something to support saying, hey, if I was reported for fraud, how do I defend myself? I haven't frauded anybody. But the other part is, what do I do to protect this person's account? Because obviously it's compromised. I'm getting thumbs down. Mars knows. I know Mars.
There's a scam that's been going around that this happened to somebody else, and I heard it in a space that they talked about. So that is exactly a scam that's going around. And yes, her account was hacked because that person fell for the same scam.
Yeah. So how do I just report the message? That's what Grok said.
Yeah, report the message. You're going to unfortunately have to report that account, I think. Yeah, because somebody else has control of it right now. And I would definitely app Premium and let them know this is a good friend of mine. I know this is a scam.
Well, they're just somebody that I met in a community, but it's right. And, we're pretty tight-knit writers.
Yes.
So
right.
I just reported it blocked. I mean, I'll email a mutual, let them know, hey, I've blocked this person. If they get their account back, let them know I'll unblock them. There. That's the best I can do today. Don't fall for. Be careful. That's what I would tell anybody on X that's arriving as a new arrival.
So, and the other thing, like to help stop that, because they're going to go ahead to all of her contacts like they did to you, somebody will fall for it. And then it'll hit somebody, one of our friends, that you were friends with, or another friend. Like that chain keeps going. So it's okay to let us know who it is. Like, if you think we're connected or something, or wherever you want to post that, I don't know. It's not if I fell for a scam like that, I don't think I would be overall embarrassed that I fell for a scam like that. It's more like I'd want to protect everybody that there's a scam happening.
I've only got 3 all writers. I'm just going to send them direct DMs.
Okay. Yeah, good idea.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah, good on you for talking about these scams, because this is one that sounds very similar to one that I would see on Instagram and Facebook sometimes, where someone creates an account that looks like your friend, and it's like basically the same handle, maybe just one letter off or something, or a number instead of a letter in their name. So it's like at first glance, quick glance, it looks legit. And they'll even like post a couple posts that are like the same and everything to almost be a completely mirror account, and then go after their followers and contact lists. So yeah. And then now here, have that happen here. And so what's the mitigation for this? To have that 2-factor authentication on. So even if you do fall for this stuff, they can't really get into your account. Does anyone know?
I think it's good to have that on. I think it's good to have any extra security levels that the app offers. Yeah, have it all on. Yep.
Yeah, don't do the one that sends a text to your phone. Do the authenticator instead. That's much more secure. They can actually like emulate your phone and clone your phone to get that code. So it really doesn't help to have that.
Okay, interesting. So this would be a good lesson here, is the 2-factor authenticator app, and there's different ones. I use the Google Authenticator. Do you guys have one that you know is legit? Because probably there are like scam versions of these, right? Too.
Yeah, I just use the Goo Authenticator.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
same
so
here. Google Authenticate.
yeah. And once you download that app and have that on your phone and you go in and turn on the authenticator features and it says use an app, then it'll walk you through how to use that. It's very simple. It's kind of like, I can't really explain it, but when you do make that choice when you're setting up this feature on an account, it makes it very easy, just with like a QR code or whatever, to get that, and it works. I have it for many accounts.
Yeah, that's dead simple. I love that this is for new people, and we're already terrifying them. But I do see some new faces in here in this room. So if this is your first time and you want to come up and say hello and speak in spaces for the first time, that is what we are here for. We're here for you.
Christopher being welcoming. That's amazing. Take this opportunity. And we got Mike Vidson up here, another great account on X, and someone else you can follow around in spaces and get a good grand tour of some of the really good spaces that are on X. So thanks for joining us again. How you doing today? Mike, are you there? Oh, maybe he put his hand up and then stepped away or whatever. So I'll wait, give him a chance to jump in whenever he is available. Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you. Yay. Okay. I think he dropped down, did a lap. Okay. He'll be back. All right. So now, or we talked a little bit yesterday, if you can speak, I'm just going to chat with you for a second about your alt account experience. And we discussed a little bit about how terrible that is for a new account when you first open it, the onslaught that you're assaulted with. So have you been experimenting with different ways to deal with that on your alt account, or have you given up yet? What's the story?
Well, I haven't given up yet because I actually do have a purpose for that alt account besides just checking my account. So yeah, I'm just going to keep posting. That's what most people say, is keep posting for like a month. And then eventually it should see me as a person, especially if I'm interacting with real people. But that is just such a horrible welcome to a new user. Hey, sign up to get verified, or you can't, nobody's going to see you. And I know it's been 2 years since, premium rolled out and I'd signed up. I was invisible then too. And so I think that goes back to social media needs to be social. And I think that they need to tweak the algorithm a little bit so that, especially if you know a real human here, you arrive, you follow 4 people, they follow you back, they're real humans. There should be a more welcoming environment when a new user gets here. And especially with that ID verification, don't treat them like a bot, wait till they've done something wrong first, because why would anybody stay here if they are arriving new? And for this to be an amazing platform, we have to have more people come, right? So yeah, I'm just going to keep posting, and, I don't want to cross over the accounts. That's one of the things. If you're running multiple accounts, you don't want them. There's rules, and you don't want to cross over too much, follow your same followers, that type of thing. It's supposed to be an entirely separate account. So it'll be a fun experiment. We'll see what happens with it.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you learn from that and hearing all about it. And I do like that strategy of just kind of just posting into the void, and then hopefully the algorithm figures you out. And I really do wish also that they gave new accounts the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I know we all hate bots, and there's like obviously a problem with that, but it's too bad that you have to punish, actual real people because of bot actions. Anyway, so we got Mike back up here. So hopefully we've got the glitches sorted. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay, great. I just originally made the right request because I thought your use of the term "good on ya," I just thought that it found that endearing. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I haven't heard that in a long time. And then you guys were talking about the authenticators and the 2-factor authentication. And while I usually don't prefer to use Google products, I think that Authy, Authy, I've read that they have a pretty good authenticator product, but I've never used it. I find it interesting because a lot of the times when they ask you to set up 2-factor identification, or verification, it doesn't necessarily give you the choice that you would want to use. So if I heard you correctly, Kate, once you begin the process, then you can choose your authenticator app. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, it's been so long since I first did it. I think you can go about it either way. You can, if someone recommends an authenticator app to you, you can go to the app store and get that and download it and then start the process. Or if you do it, like if you're setting it up for the first time ever, like an X or whatever, your email account, whatever it is, I think they will recommend some. And so that might be a way to make sure you're not downloading the wrong one, like these lookalike apps or a scam one. So if you're a little bit nervous about just picking an app, maybe you got to go through that process of, with your email account or with X or whatever, going in and starting the two-factor authenticator with an app. And then they'll make some recommendations that you can probably just tap on directly, download, and everything's cool.
Yeah, when I saw using two-factor authentication, historically they, like somebody mentioned, it's not really great to use text because you can spoof somebody's phone. And if you lose your phone, you kind of screwed there too. But I usually don't like using Google products, like I mentioned, or Microsoft products. And those are usually the two that come up, like if you want to authenticate. I didn't know that you could like maybe start the journey and choose another one down in there. I'm going to have to dig a little bit deeper in that, but I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you with like the world domination of Google or Microsoft. It doesn't leave us much choices. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I get it. But sometimes I'm just like, okay, I know that at least this is going to be pretty reliable and work, and it's not going to just disappear. Well, no, now I say that Google does that all the time with stuff, but I feel like that's probably something they'll keep going.
And they already have all our information anyway. So what the hey?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And if someone can hack Google, I mean, good for you. I mean, I think you earned my identity after that.
People do it all the time. Google even pays people to hack them.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. So I want to also welcome some of the new listeners that's popped in. Some people have come up to the speaker stage. Welcome. Thanks so much. And this is we're just offering our tips for new users on X and welcoming people to X, because I know it can be a little bit intimidating when you first open that app, or maybe you don't use it that often. So this is a place to kind of ask your questions. If you've got one, you're welcome to come up on stage. Or if you are someone who's established, we've got a lot of really great accounts up here that are here pretty much daily and very active and provide a lot of value and are good people to start following. So you can kind of start navigating your way around, finding the good spaces to go to, just engaging in the replies. Like if you get some people here who post content that you're interested in, getting in those replies and making connections with other accounts that are similar to those. I mean, this is how you find your way and start finding the actual content you're interested in versus just the onslaught of Elon posts.
Find your people, find your tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we have up here Veterans Memorial News, who we've spoken to before and has a wonderful message. So if this is a subject like veterans needs and causes and stuff like this is something that you're interested in being active in, there's someone to follow and engage with. So how are you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for that nice introduction. My name is Shonda, and I appreciate that. Thank you for the microphone. Hey, Chris. Hi, guys. So the app, I am a new form of social media that we just designed and developed for the military community, our veterans and our active duty families. We are a mobile app available in the iPhone and Google Play, and it is called Veterans Memorial News. We just received our nonprofit status in November. So we are officially a nonprofit, and we help businesses help the military. And that's our goal, to bring any type of reward, incentive, or program. It could be education. It could be anything that families need as they are getting out of the military, or it could be a veteran that's a little bit older and needing help moving and transitioning around. We help them with moving companies, real estate agents, and lenders. Additionally, we do give veterans a location to share their story on our network and platform. It's all free. And the community I just started is Veterans Memorial News. I do have a question about community building because I just started it. I think I have 5 or 6 members. I started it like 2 days ago and haven't given it much attention. So I'm not sure how to grow this the right way. If you guys could offer any suggestions on that. I mean, I know you're saying find your tribe. I love hearing that. But when I go to invite certain people, it doesn't allow me to. They're kind of grayed out.
First off, I would get your the people that you're following down to under what the people that are following you, like half of that, because it negatively affects people who interact with you. And so they may avoid doing that. So you've got like what? You're following 5,673 people. So yeah, I would cut that in half at least. That would probably help your reach.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of these things that new accounts don't necessarily consider. And I certainly didn't consider at the beginning, but it is a real thing because when you have bot accounts, they will just follow, hoping that people follow back. And unfortunately, what that does is it just gives real people, like when they see someone follow them and they look at, all they do is just look at that the ratio of follower to following, and if it's more or a decent percentage or too high or whatever compared to who's following, then it's just one of those little red flags that some people look for. So yeah, that's something to consider. And what will happen, I just removed a bunch of followers and unfollowed a bunch of people myself, like old accounts that aren't active anymore, because a lot of people have like come and gone on this platform in the past couple of years. And I will say it didn't really negatively affect my account in any way because I wasn't getting that much reach to begin with. And so when I did that, I didn't really notice a change. It just kind of stayed where it was at. And then now I'm noticing now a little bit more reach and visibility, probably because I removed a lot of those accounts I was following and also the followers that were not active and dead accounts or bots or whatever. So yeah, that's a really good tip, Christopher. And it's not a fun one to do. It's kind of like really a slog and some busy work. But
it's a lot easier to do on like desktop if you have that ability.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so that can be something that you just add to your daily to-do list, like take 10 minutes and just go through and unfollow some accounts that are either irrelevant, aren't active, or clearly bots, or the spam, like duplicate accounts, like sometimes we accidentally follow, Elon, but it's the wrong Elon or whatever. So removing that stuff, yeah, it's not fun. It's it's one of those things. So with that, when you do that, then you can start connecting with your followers more and finding and inviting them in by posting to your community so that they request to join instead of sending out those invites, because sending out those invites is a DM. And if you send a lot of DMs, that's again another flag on your account that you might be doing bot behavior. So I found that out when I started this community.
It's also deeply annoying to get like unsolicited DMs from people you never met before.
All right. So you're suggesting that I do not have as many people that I'm following.
Yes. I would cut it down at least to half of what you have now.
Okay. And then additionally, I can go and I can probably start interacting by tagging my true followers in the posts that I do in my community.
I wouldn't do that. Like unless you absolutely have to tag someone, I would avoid that at all costs. That's kind of bot-like behavior, and it's also annoying to people that you've just met.
Okay.
Yeah. So just post about it every once in a while. like every other day or whatever. You're building the community. This is the mission. Change the post up. Don't copy and paste it. And then slowly people will see that. The people that see that will request to join because you've invited them just organically. So you're not tagging anybody. It's just going out to the void, like I like to say. It's just going out there. You don't know who's going to see it, but eventually the algorithm with the right keywords in there, your post is about what your community is and what you offer and what's going to be happening in there. And you have the link to join the community either in the post itself or as a reply. And so when you go to your community page where you have that share button, you just copy that link. And I keep mine like in a note file, just the link to the community. So I can easily put that into any post or in any reply. And you can come to spaces like this. So here you're welcome to share that link to your community down in the purple pill and write a little bit about it, who might be interested. And then you never know who's listening and they might want to jump in there and support what you're doing. So all these little strategies, but you can't necessarily like tag people. You can do DMs if someone's like, hey, send me a DM for the community. I want to jump in there, something like that organically. Yes, send it to them. But when you do the invites, and it's not your fault, it's X's fault. Like the invite goes out as a DM and it's like, no one wants that. And it's flagged as spam behavior. So it's not your fault. It's just how X is set up. It's really dumb.
Yeah, a lot of the rules that would affect you negatively are only about bots doing the same thing, not about anything you're specifically doing wrong.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that's helpful. Sorry, and this advice applies to everyone that this stuff. And we had a bunch of hands shoot up while we were talking about that. So I'm sure there's some really great advice here. And I wasn't paying attention to see the order of the hands as they came up. I know Aura was first, so we'll go to Aura. And then
yeah. And I'm off topic. I actually wanted to congratulate her on getting her nonprofit status. That is wonderful. What an achievement. I know that getting through all of that is often, it often stops people. So congratulations on achieving a dream. But the other thing I wanted to say was, will you please go down to the purple pill and share this space if you're finding it valuable and might think that other creators might find it of value? That was all.
Thank you, Aura.
Thank you.
And let's see. We haven't heard from Jeff yet, so I'm tempted to go with Jeff and then Mars, no, I'm wrong. Jeff, you haven't spoken yet. I'm giving you an opportunity here. You go.
Gunky and Mars both had their hands up before me.
All right.
I'm good. I can sit back.
All right, Mars.
I'll be real quick. So when you go through and you're removing people that you're following in order to get that ratio under 50%, if there's somebody that you're following, like an organization or something that you want to know what's going on with them, you can put them on a list. So have a special list for maybe just big organizations or big accounts that aren't going to follow you back and put them on that list. And then you can go to that list every day if you want. Sometimes your list the people will still pop up in your feed, your For You feed. So it's not like you have to forego following your favorite people. It just really helps lower that ratio of, how many you're following versus following you. So that's kind of how I did it when I was trying to get through that phase of, trying to follow, there was so many organizations I was following that I really love. Well, they're all on a list now and I still go check them out here and there. So it's a really good way to do it when you go through that. So that's just my little piece of advice.
I am also on a lot of lists, but I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, Mars. Thanks for sharing that. Because sometimes we feel bad about unfollowing or not following certain accounts because it's like, oh, I really believe in their mission and like what they're doing, but maybe they're not that active, and so you're not going to be really engaging with their content that much. So why follow them? You can put them on a list. You can check the list a couple times a week and make sure you're engaging with those accounts that you really enjoy. And until you reach that hump where you've got a really decent following and you can start following more accounts and it doesn't look like you're being spammy and everything. So great tip. And I did notice that Pius, down there had their hand up. You're just my screen's so small. I didn't see it. So I want to also welcome you, but we'll go to Jeff and then we'll speak to Pius.
So for the veterans group thing, the thought that I was having while everybody else was talking is that another way to kind of help grow your community is to engage as much as you can in other communities like this one, like Christelle's Edu-Creators community, and a bunch, some of the others that are out there, and get up on the mic, and whatever topic is being discussed in those spaces, if you're going to get up on the mic, try and relate, things that you're doing to what they're talking about, or what they're talking about to what you're seeking to accomplish as some sort of an event or function within your community. That's a great way to really up your, kind of your appeal to get other people's engagement. I've been following. I remember when you first popped up, and I jumped on and followed very quickly. I haven't had a chance to really engage. I've seen spaces that you've been hosting. Unfortunately, they tend to crop up when I'm trying to get into other spaces and working on projects and things that I'm focused on right now. And it's unfortunate, but there's going to be some crossover there where there's just not enough time in the day to deal with everybody that you want to be engaged with, But at some point, you and I should get on a DM, because I've got a couple of thoughts I thought I'd like to throw at you. I just hadn't gotten around to it. But yeah, if you can follow that and some of the other recommendations that have been given, especially and get that ratio of following and followers down, I think you'll find you'll do very, very well. It also might help if you had a pinned post on onto your profile with a join link. I don't think I saw that in there for the community. I think that would be very helpful.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much for your help. And I thought I did post it. I thought I posted the community at the top of my page. I don't know if anybody can click on my profile and tell me if it's there or not, because I swear I did that. But if it's not there, I'll go and look tonight on the computer.
No, it's there. It's in your profile, the spotlight feature. So we see it in your profile.
Okay.
And Jeff's just talking about like an actual post that talks about the community and invites people, like kind of like a formal invite type of post that you can pin to your profile as well. So people, when they just kind of have their eyes glazed over and just scroll to look at your posts, that's the first one they see. So it's just another little tactic you can do if you want, as like, here's the invite. This is the type of stuff we'll be doing. I hope you can join us, and pinning it to your profile will also get it a little bit more views as well. So I think that's what Jeff was talking about.
You mainly, yes. I also just went back and double checked, and you're right. It is pinned there. I didn't realize you had to tap on that post to get to the page where the join button is. So.
Well, no, thank you guys for all the great suggestions and the help. And I feel like we can all do great things together as a community. X is just such a wonderful place to be able to exchange ideas and throw stuff at the wall, and you never know what's going to stick, like a good Italian. So like a good batch of spaghetti. We got to work together. And I feel like our veterans deserve better than what they've had, and what they get when they get out. So the goal is to support them, and I'm open to any suggestions, comments, or changes that you guys think the app needs. I'm a civilian trying to do the best that I can to, work for my military, my heroes. And thank you for the mic.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up that discussion. Communities is a great way to find your people. Building them up from scratch is tough, but once you do it, you start doing spaces. I do 2 a week to really just remind people we're here. The community's active. Get in there, post, come hang out. Let's connect. And I want to go next to Pius, who's a new speaker. So I want to say hello, and then we'll get to Gunky. But before I do that, Rich, your hand went up. Is this something you need to mention now?
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention to Veterans Memorial News because I caught a little bit of the conversation. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties in the background. I just wanted to recommend one way to grow your community is to, if you see any posts from people who you think would be good members in your community and they're posting about topics or information, sharing information that would be of value to your community, don't hesitate to share their post within your community. Just quote post it or just quote it into your community, because then they will see that it got shared into your community. They'll notice your community. They might even join your community that way. So that's one thing that I did in the beginning when growing my community, and that might help you. So sorry to interrupt there.
Thank you.
Great. Good stuff, Rich. All right. Pius, you're up. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us up on stage.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I am Pius from Nigeria, from Africa, from Nigeria precisely. I don't know, you may not understand me very well because this is your first time of listening to me. Maybe you may not understand what I am saying very well, but if you pay keen attention, listen, maybe you will get a clue of what I'm saying. It was like a coincidence when I find myself in here. When I check the title of the space, I was searching for a particular space. So I just and looked at the title of the space and came in. And actually, I like what you are discussing here, that we have a contribution also to support this community. I just joined the community, and now I will take this task upon myself. I will bring many active people in this community. That is the task I'm going to take upon myself. And I will refer it, I will start it today, referring to many active people that will come to this space, especially in Africa. Most of us realized this long ago. I had that was a very big one, but because of the new rules that I wasn't aware of, I violated then, like that of the new one that you just implemented, that the one of inauthentic content. I share some content from people, so I got suspended. That is why I began again. If you check on my account now, you see that it's a new account. So I'm just trying to grow. But since we have this in our side, in our continent, this follow, they call it follow for follow, though, and it helped me to grow up to this limit. So I will just take that task upon myself because many people are eager to do this. So I will bring them to this community. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us and thank you for coming up and speaking and telling us about yourself. And yeah, anyone who wants to come that that might enjoy these spaces, we'd love to have them. I will address the follow for follow stuff, and we did talk about that at the beginning. It's not an effective way to really grow on here because you're going to start having accounts that really aren't interested in interacting. They're just interested in taking, right? So that's what the follow for follow is like, I want to collect followers, and it has no intention. Maybe they follow you back, but they have no intention of interacting with you or getting to know you or networking or building anything with you. So finding accounts that have content that you're really genuinely interested in and that you see their posts and it lights you up and you want to reply, and or you have something funny to say, or you're learning from them. This is going to be 10,000 times more valuable than just going into the space that says follows for follows and collecting a bunch of people that are just interested in taking and not actually wanting to give and build something. And there's Aura's hand. I knew she'd have something to say on this. So do you mind if I go to Aura? Because she has a really good direction with this follow for follow stuff. So yes. All right. Thank you for that Gunky. Aura, please speak to this.
If you get involved with follow to follow, you're just really creating so much work for yourself in the future and cleaning it all up. It takes longer, but please only follow accounts that are posting things that you like. Or, like you might meet somebody in a space that's adding a lot and doing a lot in the platform. And maybe their content that they're posting on their page doesn't resonate a lot, but they do as a human. Great, follow them. But do not just follow for follow. A lot of those people are just follow churning. They follow you, you follow them, then they're going to ditch you. You will find yourself surrounded by really low quality, crappy accounts that don't care about the platform. They don't care about you. They just want to get as many GMs and GNs as they can so that they can get paid, which means those of us who actually work on our content don't get paid. It does take a lot longer. I know it's really difficult to build an account, but guys, if they're following you and you follow them, but there's never any engagement, like actual authentic engagement, it's going to drag your account down, and you're not going to see the content from the people that you want to see. So please, 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 please don't do follow for follow. Go find accounts that you actually like. If you go to a big account that you like and you go down in those replies, you're going to find interesting people down there that you're going to resonate with. So that's a good way to meet people. And also, of course, communities, spaces like this. But seriously, if I had to redo it again, my account would be so much smaller. And if I had continued, because that's what I did when I first got here. That's what everybody said. The coaches, everybody that knew everything was like, oh, if they've got a blue check and they follow you, just follow them back. It's a huge mistake. It's a huge trap. And you're really risking your account health when you do that, because a lot of them are involved in engagement farming. If you are really tight with that circle and they get shut down, the algorithm's going to shut you down with them. And then where are you at? So those are my thoughts, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you for chiming in on that.
Oh, yeah. I just want to jump in really quick. Pius, I see you're followed by John Cena. So I want to call out John Cena specifically as one of the worst people on this platform and just general human beings, because he does this shit all the time. Like, he follows just everybody, and he's exactly that kind of person, or whoever's running his account. Just like, he's following people so they'll follow him back. And he never, as far as I know, he never comments on anybody's post. And if you see his posts, I mean, they're just top quality stuff, like straight out of ChatGPT, like just the worst, like positivity porn, I guess I would call it, just like one-liners. And yeah, it only exists to exist, if you get what I'm saying. Like, that he gives nothing, he takes everything, and he gives nothing back.
It's kind of his character, Christopher. I was actually watching, it was a movie or a TV show. I don't remember specifically what it was, but his character in it, he mentioned about how everybody loves him and how it was almost a reference to his following everybody on X, like the way he spoke it and stuff. It was funny, but yeah, it is kind of like his character. And you're 100% correct. He follows everybody. He's following almost 1 million people, which I don't know. I think it's kind of awesome personally, but
yeah. But at a certain point, like, following so many people is the same as following no one, right? Like, you're never going to see all those posts in your timeline. You're never going to follow up with those people because you literally can't. You don't have enough time, especially he doesn't have enough time. So it's just, like, what's the point? The point is just engagement farming and getting more followers.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So I forgot about that. You see somewhat like celebrity follow, you get a little excited, and then you're like, oh, they literally follow everyone. Okay. All right. Let's continue around with the hands, and we'll swing back around to you, Pi. So thanks for that and starting that conversation. Really good to talk about, because we kind of have isolated ourselves from that kind of world on here, but I know it's actually really huge and kind of intimidating too. So,
which world? The wrestling world?
No, the follow for follow world.
Ah, yes. Good stuff. I mean, it's very appealing when you first show up, right? Because you got nothing, and it's really hard to build anything. But if you avoid it, you'll actually be building something real that's actually sustainable in the long run. You'll get more engagement faster, and that's what really matters. Is because if you get a bunch of dead accounts following you, It may look good, but it's not going to help your reach.
Yes. Okay. Not going to say what I was going to say. All right. Let's go to Gunky, who's been patiently waiting. Thank you so much. Welcome back under a different account.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of to the point, I suppose. I was just thinking, you know what? I'm sitting here in this brand new, well, repurposed account, which was just didn't do anything, and it's very specific what that account's doing, and I'm in hunter-gatherer mode at the moment. I'm not interested in the algorithm. I'm only interested in finding experts.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, in those subjects as best I can, and curating a group of people I'm going to follow, notify, go in spaces, not to make trouble, just to get an idea of where we're at with that subject of, ethics. AI ethics, I think, is the future, and I'm fascinated by it, and I find myself. But it's not sort of for this space. This space is more talking about, I'm starting to understand why 2,000 followers and I get maybe 3 likes, and I get a couple of reposts, and I get and yet people telling me how brilliant I am and what a fantastic meme and how funny it is, but there's like 3 people. And I'm like, no, it was funnier than that, surely. Yeah, there's another game to be played on here as well. And I sort of set myself little tasks. Like, I don't know, a few months ago, I just thought, so how does someone get a GIF on the lists of GIFs? Research.
You put it up on Giphy.
Well, I mean, that was the question I had, but I went with Tenor. And the GIF I created, one of the first GIFs, it's actually a bit rough. I wish I'd done it a bit better and knew a bit more at the time, but it's now number 2 in the world GIF. So
which one
doesn't really affect me. It's typing Clown World. It's the number 2.
Crown World.
Clown World.
Oh, okay. All
Clown
right.
World.
Let's see it. Is it safe for work?
Oh, yeah. So I was playing, and it was like, right now I'm designing an emoji, and I asked Grok earlier on, how do you get an emoji on the emojis? And you have to apply, and there's some, it's the what's it called, the Unicode emoji program.
I love it. There's a bureaucracy for GIFs.
Yeah, there is. Well, things like you can't. I'll tell you what it is, and I've designed it. I'll throw the design up and see what you guys think, but. And bear in mind, the design is, we know what it is, but I'm not using any trade names. But I thought there's not emoji for spam. Yeah, type spam. There's no emoji. And I'm like, we need a spam emoji. So I've designed one, but then looked at the guidelines and stuff. You can't use trademarks. I'm like, okay, how can I get around that? How can you know it's spam without using the word spam, basically? So I've taken an old spam can and I've sort of turned it into a graphic, and I've used less than 16 colors, etc. It'll be 400 by 400 or whatever. I'll go back and look at that. I'll make it whatever it needs to be, and then I'm going to have a go. I'll push it and see. It would be fun. Because someone created all these emojis, someone created all these GIFs, someone made it, and it was like, and if you see that at all on your travels, it's like, just do it. If you want that to happen on the internet, then just do it. Make that website, make that thing happen. And that's what Robot Referee is all about.
Didn't Apple release something where people can like make custom emojis or something? I'm not an Apple person.
It's like an AI thing. Yeah.
Okay.
There was
spam. I'm thinking the little slice of meat. Didn't that exist?
Yeah, still does.
Once no, I mean the emoji for it.
I couldn't find it on here.
I think it got discontinued.
It all came from Monty Python, didn't it? The spam song, Monty Python in the 1970s. Spam, 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 spam. It's just it come from a sketch, and the email, it was called that because of the Monty Python sketch. That's where spam email is spam. When you said to me spam, that you sort of started me off as again, Kate, when you said, that you went straight in the spam bin with my new account because I only had 1 follower or something. I'm like, there's no spam emoji. We need one. So that's my sort of mission. And I'll give it a go.
All right. Well, share your gift down below so we can all enjoy it and give you the round of applause you deserve for that.
Yeah, it's still in. Bear in mind, I can't actually say spam, so you've got to know immediately it's spam, though I can't use the word. So you'll see what I come up with. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
All right, thanks for sharing that. That's fun. Mars, you're up next.
Hi there. I was just thinking about, I think, is it Pius? I don't know his name, but definitely, especially because you've lost account before. So whatever activity was going on with that, previous activity of losing an account, I know that's awful to go through, but make sure that you definitely learn from that experience and don't continue to do the same things. You are on stage with people that are making money on X, although not much. And I have to tell you that making your own content and not reposting other people's content is the way to build your account and a way to build who you are and why you're here and the way to earn an income. And my daughter, she also earns on this platform, and she's making more in subscriptions than she is from the creator revenue program. So she even has her subscription at $4. And the other day, she is so funny because she's not here to make money. She's here just having fun. And she looked and she's like, "Oh, Mom, I've got 35 subscribers." And I'm like, "What?" And she had no idea. She had no idea, not paying attention, just having fun doing her thing. So, 35 times 4, you can do that. And that's just every month for doing what she loves, sharing what she loves with her people. And I said, that is only going to grow on this platform. Because we're watching the revenue decrease because it's going to continue to be spread thinner and thinner, I think. So definitely having people that are subscribing to you and having subscriber content that is specific to your niche that maybe you don't give to everybody else. That's kind of where I'm headed. That's what I'm starting to do myself, even because I was like, what could I do? I think I'm going to make shorts for my followers, and I'll do longer content for my subscribers and really put my time there. So anyways, that would be a way, just something to think about as you're building out. And then it goes for everybody, right? Is as you build out, be thinking of, what are you doing here and why, and who do you want to help and benefit and that kind of thing. So anyways, that's just what I'm thinking about. But definitely, I reshare. The only thing I repost are the space. And I would say probably by tomorrow morning, I will unrepost the space because there's no point of having that there anymore. But I have it there for a while so people can come back and listen if it's recorded. And let's see, I repost. Sometimes I'll repost like Green Man, another creator that I really want to just get something out there really quick, but maybe I don't want to comment on it and do like a whole quote post. I just want to do a repost for a few days and maybe undo that. So yeah, it's because the people coming to your page, like they have to be able to find your content. And if it's full of reposts, they can't find your content. So, and that's why I want to follow someone is for their content, not for who they're reposting. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, fantastic point, Mars. And I like that direction for you and for everyone. If you have subscriptions, make that a valuable incentive for people to interact with you. So like for me, I don't have subscriptions. It's going to be a while till that happens for me. But what can I do in the meantime? Well, I can start building up a community, right? And I'm doing that genuinely, authentically, and really excited about it. And then what will happen once my account grows and is established with subscriptions? I kind of have a built-in little funnel kind of. I mean, I don't like to word it that way, but it's these are like business terms I'm using, but you can do this organically and authentically. Like I'll have a community of people. There'll be people who want to engage with me and have subscriptions and that different part of me. And then also just my regular followers too. So it'll be already kind of like a path that makes sense. So I'm not worried about not having the subscriptions yet because I know when it does happen, I'll be able to start that in a way that will kind of work, right? And so I encourage everyone who already has subscriptions, like this tactic that Mars is taking is a really great way to do it. You don't like gatekeeping your content. You're putting out content for free every day. You can also put more out that's more valuable behind that paywall so that it can help support what you're doing. There's nothing wrong. So if you take that strategy, and Mars, I want to hear back from you as you kind of go along with this format and report back to us and let us know how it's going for you, what you've kind of learned along the way and what's working, what's not working. because I think it's a fantastic strategy and I'm excited for you and what you do with it. Rich, you threw your hand up there.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you said, and I love everything that Mars shared. Mars, how much is your subscription price right now? Is it $2 or is it
It's
$3?
$3. Yeah,
Three,
I
okay.
actually increased it. And I thought, well, I'll probably lose some subscribers, but I think I only lost like 4. But
Oh, that's good.
it wasn't, and they all contacted me. They were so sweet. And they're just
Aw.
going through something right now, and they're actually deleting all of their subscriptions. So it wasn't really even that my price
Yeah.
increased $1 because it's just $1. But yeah, so yeah, totally sweet.
Yeah, I think I've noticed. Well, I've definitely had a drop in subscribers. I think at the peak, I was at like 58 and I'm down to like 36. But I don't offer subscriber only content really. Like I think the last time I posted any subscriber only content was months ago. So it's definitely my fault. But I do make it very clear when somebody goes to subscribe to me just to kind of consider it as a tip. Like and I appreciate it so much. And please drop your subscription at any time. Like just the fact that you took that step to send me $2, like that means the world to me. And so I think that we all do handle our subscriptions in our own ways. And I love your idea about sharing like a taste of your content out there on the public feed for everybody to see, and then putting like a more complete piece behind the subscription wall, something that kind of gets people hooked maybe, so that they do want to keep subscribing and see how your content grows and develops. And with that in mind, also I do want to remind everybody, you were talking about like quote posting and stuff like that and filling up your feed with other people's content, and how it's important to make sure that you have your content on there, which I 100% agree. But I do want to remind everybody to make sure that you are highlighting your best content and filling up that highlights tab. And when you visit a new account, please make sure you visit somebody's highlights tab, because I take great effort in curating my highlights tab. Like a lot of times I'll highlight something or pin something, and it'll push it into the highlights tab. If you pin something, it automatically pushes that post into the highlights tab, just so you know. And if you don't want that, or if you wanted that there only for a few days, like if it was something in the moment type of information, you can always remove the pin or remove the highlight. And so I do that quite often. And my highlights tab I think I have almost 300 posts in there now. And like you might be saying, oh man, that's a lot. Why do you need that many? Well, I've posted almost 40,000 posts on X. So for me to highlight 300 of them, it's really not that much. And for somebody to scroll down through my highlights tab and go to the very bottom and then work their way up, you actually can see the progression of my content and how I have grown as a creator on the platform. And so I encourage that everybody does that, because it's almost like a little diary, a journal of your growth that you can share with people. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yes, everybody share your growths.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm just going to do a quick little reset here and let everyone know to check the highlights here up on the Projectotron up top and see what we've got going on up there. Lots of information for you if you're a new person in this space, because we're going to be wrapping this up in about 15 minutes or so. So you can get acquainted with the content that I'm doing, the community I'm building right now. And if up there I have pinned is the website link to the Collaboration Station website, which you can get all these spaces we do as podcasts. So if you tuned in like halfway, you want to listen to the beginning, or you want to share it with a friend, you can share the podcast version of these spaces. So it's very easy listening. I cut out all the little pauses and ums and stuff, so it goes a little bit quicker. And it's also like, okay, you want to share something like really great content from X, and you know what I'm talking about. You've got those friends that if you shared an X link with them, they would just roll their eyes, or they won't even click on it. They can't be bothered. Maybe it is a little bit of a hurdle to convince people to log in to listen. It's a little bit of a barrier to entry. So you want to send them maybe the podcast, like the Spotify link to the episode, and you'd be like, hey, I was on this, listen. And then they'd be like, you can be on this too, come on over, and it just is a fun way to introduce people to X, right? That maybe aren't sure, like, what's that all about? And then they are welcomed into a community right away, can have a lot of fun in spaces. So this is like the whole concept of what I'm doing. And you can start that journey by going to the website. And if you sign up for the email list, I'm going to try and get that going. And you can get an invite to the Facebook community. Yep, I said it. I'm building up a Facebook community as a way for people who really want to build a collaboration with people, not on public on X, because like you post on the community, it goes out to everybody on here. So with the Facebook community, it's private, it's hidden, you can't find it. You can search for it, you won't find it. You have to get the invite through the website, and you can go there and then start sharing your projects, maybe mid project, stay plugged in, connect with people that way in chat or group chat. Maybe we can start one there. I don't know. But it is just another avenue for that collaboration aspect of this community. So sorry for that ramble. I got to bring Christopher back up here. Sorry about that. He had a glitch, but we'll go to the Lazy Canadian Investor, a new friend to the space. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. How are you today?
Very well. Thank you for having me. I just saw the title of the community. So welcome to X. And so thank you. Just wanted to say hello to everybody. My name is Jim. I am a Canadian and I provide financial just education. I got onto social media during the lockdown and all that stuff. I couldn't do anything. So I got onto social media then. I've only been on X for maybe about 3 years. I mean, I created an account, but I never really used it. So I like the tips that I've been hearing with regards to, getting the content you want to see. Right now, I don't have that many followers because I found that the more followers I had, the more my feed got really cluttered. And I kind of use X for news. And so I didn't want to, it was like getting a fire hose of information that I wasn't interested in. So I only follow a few people, and I use the muted words a lot because sometimes there's just words that are associated with certain types of content where I don't want to see, and I don't want to block people. I don't block anybody on social media. So I usually just mute the words. So I don't, see that type of content. So that's one way to get around the whole block stuff. Literally the only accounts I block are the ones that are like the fraud and scam accounts that try to push something. As soon as I post something, I get like, hey, check out this, whatever Discord or, just that one. I'll block those. But generally, if you look like a real person, I won't block you. I mean, I don't like blocking in general. And so I've been an investor for about 30 years. I got onto TikTok first. So I was a video platform. So that's what my sort of home base is, video platform, short form video. I have about 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram combined, about 10 million views a month, right? So then I came on to X because it's hard to, I found that it was really good for news, number one, like really good for breaking news. And it was easier to create text content when I was on the treadmill. Like, you can't film video content when you're on the treadmill very well. Like it's kind of like you're bouncing up and down. But I was like, hey, I can post while I'm walking or jogging. Not so much jogging, but I did that. And that's about it. So since I got into social, I've learned how to monetize social media. I'm not an expert. Like I see all these people who are experts, but I'm not one. But, when we started, no money, posted, got traffic, and then, $500 a month, and then 1,000, and then 10. And so we're sort of around the 30,000 a month revenue. So I know how to monetize social media up to that point. But beyond that, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. And that's sort of a little brief 411 on who I am. And thank you for having me speak.
Yeah, great to meet you. Thanks for coming up and sharing a little bit about yourself. I love that. That's what this community and these spaces really is all about. We get into topics just to keep the conversation interesting so it doesn't get boring here, so people can keep coming back and sharing what they know and stuff. But it's always an opportunity to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are and everything, because you never know who you're going to meet. And yeah, that's amazing. We have had a few people in the community that are huge accounts and doing so well on other platforms and everything, and then finding the hard nut to crack. But it is where you get the latest news and info. And I think that a lot of us can relate to that experience of, we want to just see a few things on a few topics and really get the latest information on that. And so some really great tips there for how to use the blocking features that are available for like muting words and, making sure that those bot accounts that maybe follow you or engage with your content, the block feature can keep you from having them as a follower, and then maybe like they can leave and then come back and follow you again and stuff. So it just like takes care of that problem. and some of those other tips. So thank you for joining us. Great to meet you. And yeah, anytime you want to come up and speak and share what you got going on, we'd love to have you. And because this is ultimately a collaboration type of community and group. So, we don't necessarily talk about that all the time. But for me, the introduction is the first part. And then you start to get to know people a little bit better. And then you see like, oh, how could I work with them? They seem to be interesting. Or maybe I have a skill to offer, or maybe they could help me with something. And that's where those collaborations start. And sometimes it's small, like just hosting a space together, or like Christopher and I, I shared a photo with him and he made something really cool with it and made a cool post. So, it doesn't have to be this big ordeal.
And it went sort of viral. Pretty good. Like 20.
Yeah, it did really well, which was exciting. So, and now I'm on the radar of some of these accounts. I had like Luma repost me today, and the CEO of Luma repost me today. And it's, you can look at my profile and see how many followers I have. And, that doesn't necessarily matter as much on this platform. Those numbers, yes, they do matter to a point, but it doesn't matter as much as other places. And that's what I find what's so fun about this, because you never know who's out there, who's following you, and who's seeing your content. And and listening to these spaces.
Yeah, I think your use case with AI is a good example that people should look at and follow, because what it is she used her own photography to make AI video stuff, and almost no one is doing that. So it immediately gets people's attention. And it's great content, and it's like you're kind of jumping straight to the top of the pile when it comes to AI video content. So you can think about that in terms of what you post, and come up with something that is unique, that people haven't seen a million times before.
Yeah, and it's authentic to me 100%, because I've been wanting to do this since AI video and AI images came out. I've been wanting to figure out a way to incorporate my photography and images, so that I have thousands on my hard drives in my archive that are just sitting there, collecting digital dust. So I've like this whole AI stuff. I've always been thinking about how I can use those and repurpose them and make them into something new, and mix these mediums. And it's just very exciting. So yeah, I'm happy people will like it and find it innovative and stuff. And I hope it inspires people, because Rich made some really cool stuff. I hope you'll be posting those with some of his just phone photos. It's just cool what it can do, and can take it to a whole nother level. And we'll talk about Luma Labs at the very end of this, is what I'm using. There's many models. This just happens to be one that I'm using. But we're going to go to Jeff, give him a chance to speak, because he's got his hand up, and then we'll be closing the space. So last chance to do the poll that's down on the purple pill. Quick reminder. All right, Jeff, you're up.
Okay, cool. So for anybody who may be new to this space or spaces in general and is curious how much this stuff really works, I just got to spend a few minutes in a DM session with the Veterans Memorial News group, and it looks like I will be collaborating with them in the coming weeks to add a couple of new, very valuable functionality features to their existing app, so that they can expand. Literally, well, I won't go into it, but it's going to add some really useful features out there for veterans and for families of active duty service members and the like. But just because of the conversation today, that just got triggered. And that's the way this collaboration station and spaces like this work. So just keep coming and keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there.
That's awesome. That's so awesome, Jeff. Thank you for telling us that. That happened right here in this space, collaboration in the moment happening. You're going to help her. She's going to that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, wonderful to hear. And I was just quickly making a little post down there that I'm going to pin up here in a second. Did any other hands go up? We're pretty good. Christopher, is the poll closed now, or is it still?
It's time to the space, so I got about 8 minutes left.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up right on time today, so maybe we will go over the results now, unless someone has anything we want to discuss that we didn't touch upon, or
I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now's the time. Go for it.
So sometimes when I see an older post that I really like, that I created, that really got a lot of traction, say something I created a year ago in spring of 24, would you repost it to bring it to the forefront, or just rework it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. So there's a few strategies to this. I'll speak to it, and Rich and Christopher and anyone else here, feel free to throw up a hand if you've had any thoughts on this. I think that it's really a good idea to do, especially with this kind of content that is, evergreen, as they call it. So a few things that I do personally, and I have a Premium Plus account, so disclosure, I can do an article. So I like to put a brain dump of whatever the subject is and put it all in an article, just make it really long form content. So now that exists as an article. Then I can mine that content and make posts about it whenever I want. And, now I can share to that article as well. And so part of my strategy to hopefully make a little bit of money doing this is having like some affiliate links or referral links to things that I can put in that article. And then that way I'm not spamming up my profile, which I do still anyway, because I talk about products that I really like and enjoy and then share my referral links. But I'm not, no one's paying me unless someone actually uses it. So I use all these platforms that I share. But that's like another tactic that I've been implementing. It's kind of a little bit out there, a little bit different than most people. But yeah, reposting, you can do it. But yeah, actually rewriting the post and reforming it will be a better angle from what I understand. Christopher, what do you think?
Yeah, and you might want to think about the strategy you have. Like repackaging content is great, but you want to add something to it. Like if you just repost it and you put some extra words in there, it probably won't take off. But I had some advice from Kate, who told me to do breakdowns in my video and look at the inspiration and all that kind of stuff. And that actually worked extremely well. And I should have taken her advice sooner, and I will do that better in the future. But yeah, like repackage it in a way. If you're like, oh, I made this thing, maybe talk about how you made it. But at the very top of your post, you're reposting that thing. I'm thinking of videos here, but you could do it with a lot of different things. Just different angles you can take that actually add something to the conversation instead of just reposting it with some different text and that's your only part of the post. Like expand on it, give people information, whatever you can think of. Like it's going to be different for everybody who did it. But, if it's like a real life video, maybe you do behind the scenes footage or whatever it is that you think people will be interested in. It's a new angle, and it allows you to put out your content again and get it maybe spotlit and get it shared out there in a different way.
That's given me an idea, because you have a post on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever that gets like these millions of views, just hundreds of thousands of views, and goes viral and stuff. You take that and break that down on here, people will love that, like how you did that, why you think it worked. Oh my gosh, people will eat that up like candy. And it's a way to repurpose your content, because you already know probably like the strategies and stuff that work. You don't have to reveal everything, but you can talk about how, what your camera you used or your phone or whatever, and people will love that little bit behind the scenes, right? Stuff. If it's the actual content itself, that like that same reel, if you posted it here, it doesn't get the views, which I'm guessing like the way video content gets on here, it's sad. We all know it's sad. So breaking it down into a thread of how it worked and how you did it, that would be a tremendous value. I would find that really interesting. So I don't know, that might be a spin on it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that. And then I guess the other side of the coin for the same question is like, so when do you typically use the repost feature? And like, yeah, when do you normally use it and how do you use it?
Yeah, Christopher, you do a repost of your own content frequently. Do you have a system?
Just keep your eye on the number of views that it's getting, and if it's been like 6 hours or so, and it looks like it's dying off, that's almost exactly when I will do it, depending on what I'm got going on. Like I might do like another post and then repost that later. But it really depends on what's going on with is it on an upswing? If it's on an upswing, don't mess with it. I'd say wait for it to go down a little bit and then hit it again. But you want to do that to all your content. No, and unless it's just like an absolute shit post and it got zero views and it doesn't matter to you. Yeah. So try to be a little strategic with it. But yeah, I would do it to every single one of your posts for the most part.
And is there a period of time where it goes stale? Like you would repost after 6 or 12 hours if it's like, how about like if it was like 6 days or 6 months, would you just forget about like reposting those?
No, you can still do that. I don't know. It may get decremented after that. So you probably want to do it fairly soon, like 6 to 8 hours, like maybe 20 hours at the outside.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, these are great tips. And our space on Sunday that we kind of do a Sunday evening space is more of these like advanced strategies for people who are established accounts or like, trying to get an edge. And, this might be something that we get into more about like reposting and quote posting and this stuff. When is the best strategy to do it? Because I was trying to think of a topic for Sunday to get into that, for a small account, a new account really isn't going to matter because this is like the welcome to X space. So that stuff, like you want to be very careful with reposting as a new account, I think, especially other people's content. In general, I don't know. I would think so. And probably quote posting is a better strategy as a new account. Yeah, but there's a lot to unpack there. So for Sunday space, we will get into that. And I'll talk about what time and share the link here in a minute. But we're going to go to Gunky and then we'll have Christopher do the poll. And then we're going to talk about Luma Labs a little bit because I posted the link up above. So you guys, if you want to try it, they're supporting our content here. So not directly and kind of indirectly, but we all use it. So it's fine. Gunky, go ahead.
Something I've been looking for. I like YouTube videos where they just get on with it. Here's how to use a spanner, right? Here's a spanner. Here's how you use it. I'd quite like to see X spaces. Someone like, this is how I set it up. This is how I advertise it. This is how I run it. This is how I, and also here are some of the things about it that aren't quite so good. It's like, as much as I can put my hand up, I quite like to put a coffee cup up because I don't hear anything when I take my headphones off. So I'm sat here, you might be talking to me, I don't know, but it'd be quite nice to I just put my coffee cup up, oh, he's gone for a coffee, or that kind of thing, feeding the cat, ablutions or whatever. But yeah, the sort of the drawbacks, pluses, minus, just how to manage a space, how you guys do it basically, because I don't know how you're liking stuff I'm posting whilst following the conversation. I've been literally spamming the last sort of 20 minutes. Anyway, yeah, that was all.
Yeah, I'm a wizard back here. Maybe I'll reveal all, but that's an extra topic that we could get into as well on a Sunday space and really do a deep dive. And then we could also do, a topic of spaces as beginner, first time. What do I expect? What do I do? And get some guest co-hosts and let you guys experiment with that. That would be fun. All right. I'm just trying to find the post. Christopher, reveal the poll results. I will be doing something.
All right. The poll was, what should we call new X users? And tied for third place with 8.3% of the vote each is Frex Meat and X Virgins. Second place with 25% of the vote is X Noobs. And then, surprise, I think this might be the first time we've ever gotten other as number one with 58.3% of the vote. And what people brought in for that, the options they had were Xticles. Let's see here. Rich Silver said we should call them eggs, but maybe that was a Twitter thing. And I said Zembrios. Chris Gallaty said Zoomers with an X. Aura said new friends, truth seekers, and newbies X. And there we go.
All right, we're gonna have to keep workshopping this one, I think. But I think Zoomers was probably the best.
Pretty good.
It just has a good ring to it. But yeah, maybe we need to do this poll again in a couple
I like
weeks.
Zembrios.
Zembrios is good too. I've pinned up at the top Sunday space if you want to RSVP for that, add it to calendar, all that jazz, so you can join us then. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about the possibility of maybe discussing quote posting, reposting, or maybe we'll do spaces. I don't know. We'll see where it goes with that. Jeff, your hand's shot up here. I'm just about to close up the space, but you're a wonderful regular. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say what you want to say.
Well, I'd originally misunderstood what Chris was telling us to do, and I put mine down in the purple pill and I misspelled it. I was trying to say extraordinaires, but as he was going through that list, it occurred to me, how did I come up with space cadets?
Oh, that's
it's a
good.
good choice. It's a good choice.
Elon would like that one. All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Also pinned up above, if you swipe over from the Join the Space projection up there, you'll see our Luma Labs referral link. Now, this is just a way to support the community, support the spaces we do, and all the time that we invest into these. What it is you can do text to video AI generation. You can do image to video AI generation. And if you haven't tried it yet, you can use our referral link to go over there and try it out. If you have any questions about what's going on in there, you can reach out to me. You can post about it. We'd love it when you post a question and tag us, and then we can get in there and answer it publicly, because DMs are great, but it's not a great way to communicate useful information to a lot of people. It gets kind of just funneled to one person, and we want to reach as many people with this as possible. So you can try using your own images like I've been doing. You can use Mid-Journey images like Christopher and Rich use and I do from time to time. And you can play around with it. I think with the free account, you get a few generations to play around with and try out. We recommend the Ray 2 model. I don't think you get access to that with the free, but the Ray 1.6 model is very good. I use that quite a bit too, because it has some features that the Ray 2 model doesn't do. And you just can get in there and play around with a free account and see what you create. And we'd love to see it. So if you do try it and you use our link, make sure you tag us in the posts that you create with any of the content. The stuff's getting so good. I'm a little bit nervous about telling people to go try it, but it's just very much it's fairly intuitive how to use. And it's getting so good now that a lot of this AI stuff that I was hesitant to recommend, because now I'm going to have to be your troubleshoot support desk person the entire time you try and use it. I was shying away from it, but now it's getting so good that you can get a pretty good result immediately on the first generation, which has just been unheard of for so long. And I'm very excited about it. And that's why you see me post about it more, because I'm actually getting good results on the budget accounts that I use. And yeah, so I'm excited about it. Christopher uses it for pretty much all his content, a huge portion. He always mentions the different apps he uses. So you can try out different ones that he recommends. And Rich is a user of Luma as well. And I think, Rich, you try different ones too. So you can always ask us or post and tag us and let us see what you're creating. We'd love to see it. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to close up the space. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble on and supporting the community and showing up. I hope you check out the website too and join the email list and check out the podcast. If you follow the podcast and give us a rating, what will that do? It'll just bring more people to X, more people to check out the community, more people bringing their skills, more people to collaborate with. And that's good for all of us, right? I don't see a downside to any of it. So thanks to all the speakers, the wonderful contributions that you did. And I hope to see you on Sunday Space. If not, join us next week on Wednesday, same time. And yeah, I think that's it. So have an awesome day, everyone. And I'll see you in the next space.